Good afternoon, everybody. Happy Tuesday. Hope all is well out there. We're here for another edition of the Established to Run NBA DFS Injury Analysis Show. I'm Gary Hartman, filling in for Drew Dinkmeyer, who's traveling home for Thanksgiving. Joined, as always, of course, by the NBA fantasy, betting, DFS, ladders king, Mike Gallagher. How you doing, Mike?
I'm not the ladders king. Giannis is, but yeah, doing great, man. Got a nice little hike in. Feel awesome. And shout out to you for I got to tail the RJ Barrett under you gave me, and bought these puppies with him. Some Air Max
very
270s,
nice.
Just got triple white. So
that's sweet. Yeah,
I figured I'd give you some props for that. But yeah, you could also make money on the people who support us. That's Underdog Fantasy. This show is brought to you by our friends at Underdog Fantasy. They have daily NBA snake drafts for money, running in addition to many formats of NFL contests, still running for huge prizes. If you're playing NBA Pick'em, in-season subscribers could use our tool to compare ETR projections to their game. If you haven't subscribed yet for Underdog, use promo code ETR for a matching deposit bonus up to $100. That's promo code ETR at underdogfantasy.com.
Yeah,
feeling pretty good. Yeah, I'm pumped for today, man. I want to play some DFS, level slate. Yeah, I feel awesome. Like this is the little hike in. I feel like I'm feeling really good today.
I got to get back out to Phoenix. I love the hikes we went on last year. Great hiking area that you're in. I'm jealous that you get to have it, especially as we get really cold here in New York City. But
68 degrees right now.
You know, jealous. Actually, today's the nicest day we've had in weeks. It's like 50 degrees and sunny out today in New York.
That works.
It's been 20 the last week, so I was just outside a little bit. It was nice. But we digress about the weather. For a 4-game slate, I think pretty much 7 of the 8 teams have serious injuries that are at least already ruled out or have something to talk about. So a pretty big injury news slate for a small slate. So let's dive right in. I think the lead here are the 2 teams that are really banged up, and let's start with Philadelphia, who are still without Joel Embiid, or still without Tyrese Maxey for a while. No Joel Embiid tonight. And then Tobias Harris, I believe, is probable here. But they're going to be in a precarious position with no Embiid, no Maxey. Obviously, Harden's still out.
Yeah, so a couple things here. One, we saw Tobias miss time last weekend with a midday Q tag on Friday when they were off since Sunday. So something definitely happened, an injury he had last year. So practice should be good to go. Really no concern. So I would expect pretty close to full minutes. Obviously, you take Embiid out. So at first you think, okay, more Harrell, more Paul Reed. But then you think, who are they playing? And they're playing the Nets. They're not going to have a lot of bigs. Definitely the Nick Claxton side, which we'll talk about, could affect their rotation in a significant way. So I'm still expecting, regardless, to see a little bit of Montrezl Harrell. They're going to need the offense. So I expect his minutes to be okay. Paul Reed, they like Paul Reed to guard bigger centers and guys who can impact under the paint. Not really the biggest Paul Reed spot there with the Nets just having Claxton. So curious to see how, it's again with if Claxton's in, maybe they start Paul Reed. If he doesn't, maybe they start small and play a PJ Tucker multiple wing lineup. Having Harris back, having Korkmaz back adds more depth there. So yeah, it's very much dependent on both sides of this for me and how Doc works his rotation. But I'm expecting full minutes out of Tobias, who should have a pretty big role, right? Without Embiid, without Maxey, without Harden. We've seen Tobias, especially under Doc, even with the Clippers going back a few years ago. He's capable of being a guy who can carry, mid-20s usage role in a matchup that has improving the Nets defense lately, but certainly could be vulnerable.
Yeah, this is going to be a big Tobias Harris spot, just usage-wise for sure. Yeah, interesting notes there about Paul Reed. I mean, we'll see what ends up happening there as far as who do you project to start, you think, tonight?
Yeah, I guess it's small. I guess they start PJ Tucker, Milton, Daniel House, and Tobias. I guess would probably be my guess.
So go real small. Yeah. I mean, on a 4-game slate, you guys will talk about it on the DFS show, but you could do some interesting things as far as pivots are concerned. Like we'll see what happens with Paul Reed, Montrezl Harrell, but there's going to be some interesting things that they'll have to try. Georges Niang, as long as Harris is ruled in. Korkmaz also probable here, which is somewhat consequential for sure. He's stone min on DraftKings.
And they might start Paul Reed over House, and just to have their minutes out there when Claxton's out there, because they're going to be like the Claxton minutes will be like the only big minutes. There'll be a lot of Ben Simmons off the bench filling in behind him. So if how you're going to construct your rotation, that kind of makes sense too.
Makes sense. All right. Other big kind of injury cluster F.
We should add. We didn't mention Shake. We didn't mention Shake Milton.
Yeah.
picked up a really big ball handling role, as did D'Anthony
Yeah.
Melton. They both really, really carried the load. So expect those guys to do a lot of setting the tone on offense. So big minutes as
Yeah.
well.
I never thought I would see D'Anthony Melton at 7,500 on DraftKings, but here we are. Really, really crazy stuff. And it might not even be a bad tag. All right. So the Nuggets are the other spot where just so much up in the air. So obviously Jokic is listed as doubtful on tonight's injury report. So not ruled out. Same thing with Jamal Murray, Aaron Gordon, Bones Highland, Ish Smith, Peyton Watson, all questionable. And Jeff Green is also out with the knee. So they are, assuming these doubtfuls are not going to go. Do you have leans on the questionable tags in here? And what are you expecting out of the Nuggets here tonight?
I think there's a chance we get Jokic and Murray, treating it more like a questionable for me.
Interesting.
Because we've had Bones, he was doubtful, got elevated, and got cleared like right before the game started and played pretty normal minutes on the game on Friday, the first game in Dallas, before he went off for a career high on Sunday. But so keep an eye on that. Again, don't treat that as like a true doubtful tag because guys can go through the protocols pretty quick. No Jeff Green, knee contusion. Mike Malone said he got that news from DeAndre Jordan that DeAndre Jordan is the best friend of everyone because Jeff Green told him he wasn't going to return, tells DeAndre Jordan tells Coach Malone. That's how they don't need notifications for Woj. They've got DeAndre Jordan breaking their news over there. So that's pretty crazy. And we saw Zeke Naji start there. Obviously, Aaron Gordon's back. Naji starting the second half for Jeff Green. Aaron Gordon is back. He said he's going to play. He has been out for basically a week with this illness, so expect him to play pretty normal minutes. Really, everything leading up to this makes it seem like he may not play mid-30s, but I think 30 is certainly doable. His wind could be a factor. They're at home, so you got the altitude factor working against them there. We'll see if that affects his win. So probably expect 80%, 85% of his normal workload with that. But Bones could play a bunch if all these guys are out again. Bruce Brown's been playing a ton, been setting the tone on offense. He's been fantastic, and Bones was just magnificent to beat the Mavericks in Dallas when you're missing half your team is just what a win for them. And shout out to Vlatko Konchar, who hits a big half court shot, kind of changed the game. And just now, about an hour ago, the Denver media posted him in a half court shooting contest, and Malone put him in for that just to make the half court shot, and he made it. And you hit that 3-pointer and you win by a point.
Wow.
Just great coaching from Malone. Just he was just so happy for that win. Just to add that as well. But we ripped DeAndre Jordan. He's kind of playing okay.
Wow.
They like him
really?
for screen setting. He is like relative to expectations.
No, I believe you. I haven't. On Sunday I don't really get to watch much basketball. So
he's been.
But 34 minutes. Yeah, it's 17 rebounds. I mean, that's kind of a vintage DeAndre Jordan game. I never thought we'd see DeAndre Jordan play 30 minutes in the NBA ever again. So for sure.
So, we might be going back to the well.
Good matchup pretty much across the board, right? Here against Detroit. So I mean, Bones Highland's all the way up to 6,700 on DraftKings. They really got aggressive in juicing these guys up. So, Aaron Gordon was having a really good season before he missed. So I'm sure he'll be a welcome back addition to the court. He's only 5,600. So someone that you'll talk about later as well. Glad that he's
the timing of the doubtful tags. So with Bones, he got a midday questionable upgrade. So what I just said now treating like a questionable tag. They're going to have to get out. They're not going to go from like doubtful to in. I would say that's very unlikely. So just keep your eye on the injury report. Certainly, Underdog will have that detail.
Yeah, I mean, and it's protocols. It's COVID stuff. It's not a physical injury holding them back. So those are the doubtful tags that you can kind of take with a much bigger grain of salt as far as the possibility of being bumped up. All right, anything else Denver-wise here? I think that covers it. As you mentioned, Zeke Naji drawing the start. He's played only 16 minutes, though.
Yeah. Drew the second half start for Jeff Green.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
So what would you expect? Would you expect him to be in the starting lineup tonight, depending?
No,
because Aaron Gordon's back.
Yeah, it'll be Bruce Brown, KCP, MPJ, who played okay, hit a big shot late in the game on Jeff Green. I'm sorry, Aaron Gordon, and then DeAndre Jordan, and then that's assuming no Murray, no Jokic. So
gotcha. Cool. All right, going over to some questionable tags. Ja Morant got the upgrade to questionable this morning. Obviously, big news for Memphis there. You expect him to go? Usually when I see that the bump up in status, I do expect the players to go, and obviously that'll be a big return for Memphis playing at home against the Kings tonight.
Yeah, way ahead of schedule here. He was
Yeah.
supposed to miss weeks, and he's back after basically one game. So I'll add, I didn't think his injury looked that bad. Like he kind of rolled it going into the scores table. Usually he didn't like step on anybody's foot, or land on somebody. Those are like the worst ones. So I was surprised to see that week to week tag. So I think he's got a decent shot to play, but definitely keep your eyes peeled. We're probably gonna get that info. It's 30 minutes after tip there, so we should know. But yeah, he's gonna worst case scenario, he's gonna be game time. They're like, oh, John Morant's ready to go.
Yeah,
They're definitely gonna ask him to like warm up and all that stuff. So
for
keep
sure.
your eyes peeled. I don't have a great read on the situation just because that that initial prognosis was this is just so off to get the Q tag early, but we've seen like what if you remember Derek Favors for like a couple years ago was listed as questionable for months. Malcolm Brogdon listed as questionable last year for a million times different scenario. But so keep your eyes peeled. We should have it. But Jaren Jackson is back. He'll be moving back in the starting lineup over Santi Aldama. So they will start Tyus Jones or John Conchar, Dylan Brooks, Jaren Jackson Jr., and Steven Adams.
Yeah.
And then their bench unit will be if Jaw's in, it'll be Tyus. Then they'll have the Laravia, Roddy, Brandon Clark will be the 5-man, and obviously Santi Aldama will be backing up Jaren Jackson. So they'll have 10. We've seen them run 9 a little bit lately because they're so shorthanded. But they'll go 10 probably regardless tonight with Jaren Jackson back.
I hope Ja plays because this, Kings have been playing a lot of fun basketball, and it'll be a fun game. That's got a 234.5 over under. We're gonna get some pace there. The Kings, I think, are still bottom 5 in the league in defensive efficiency, so it's like it should be a fun one. And if Ja plays, I'd be a little wary. And you guys will talk about this later about using him in DFS, but just. Because when somebody jumps ahead in an injury timeline that quickly, I don't know if they'll be 100% on the floor or not. But you're right. I wouldn't be surprised if it's just mind games with the opponent also, as far as the questionable tag for a couple of days. So we'll see.
If he's out there and he's not, no one's gonna own him. I'm down. Like I said, I thought I was surprised that he was getting helped off the court. I think because if you ever. I have a bad knee, right? I'm nowhere near the caliber of John Moran. But if I do anything to my knee, anything, I'm like done. Like I'm like, oh, help me. Like, I hate asking for help for anything. Like it's just, you freak out, if this guy sprains his ankle, he's just nervous, so I think that was kind of why. So like I said, it didn't look bad.
No, that makes sense. And obviously if he can't go, you'll see big minutes out of Tyus Jones once again, who I always love playing in DFS when he gets expanded opportunity. The guy's a really good player. And anytime he gets that expanded load, I don't know how much they priced him up. But obviously it's a consequential Q tag on a 4-game slate. Like it changes the entire outlook because it gives you another spend up option while also changing the outlook of the rest of Memphis. Obviously they're still without Desmond Bane, so they can use him back for sure. Anything else on Memphis? I saw Xavier Tillman's listed available.
They don't need him.
Yeah, they don't need him. Kenny
Lofton called up. Maybe we see some Kenny Lofton garbage time. He's been just usage monster in the G League.
Has he? I love Kenny Lofton.
Yeah,
that's cool. Yeah. All right. Other major question marks. We already spoke about the Sixers side here, but Nick Claxton and Yuta, 2 important pieces that kind of play right into one another on their roles on this team, are questionable. Yuta's been amazing. And obviously consequential here. Even with Embiid and Maxey out, they would puts them in a tough spot to miss both these guys. But what are you feeling on Clax, who's questionable with the illness, and Yuta with the hammy?
Yeah, I can never tell what illness is, right? For what it's worth, what's been going around, guys miss games. I just talked about Aaron Gordon. I mean, it's been, usually it's like a day and they're back. But
I think I had whatever it was like a week and a half ago, and it lingered for like a week plus. It's just like a cold. It was just a cold. It wasn't the flu. It wasn't COVID. But I just had like a bad cold that didn't go away for a week and a half or so. So it's whatever it is lingering for sure.
Yeah, I know. So maybe he sits. But we won't have any information on that. It is the first game of the night, so we'll certainly know there. They'll probably start Ben. So we'll keep an eye on that. Yuta, hamstring tightness. He was great in this game against the Grizzlies. Hit a couple big. He is just a corner 3 king. I think he's shooting like 70% on corner 3s.
I think he's leading the league in 3-point percentage right now.
Oh yeah, okay,
3-point field goal.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah,
I saw a shot chart the other day. It's just like it's absurd in the corners. But hammy tightness. Don't have a read on it. He played late minutes, so we'll see. And this isn't the same injury that he had. He had an ankle sprain in Dallas, week and a half ago or so. So different injury.
If they both miss, you expect Day'Ron Sharpe to get into the rotation a little bit? Trying to think who, or they just try to go as small as possible.
Probably a little more Markieff Morris. Maybe we see Sharp just here
Forgot
and
that
there. He wouldn't.
Keith is available now. I forgot about Keith.
So he would be the guy. He's a little bit ahead for sure.
Yep.
And
Yep.
it should be a lot of a very wingy game if Claxton can't go.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, and as you mentioned, the Sixers are probably going to go really small here. So, the Nets could probably get away with it as well if one of them miss, especially Claxton. So, okay. That's really it as far as questionable tags. Other things to discuss on the Pistons. Obviously, sucks they're going to be without Cade for a while. They do have Corey Joseph probable here tonight. The other side of that's riddled with injuries on the Nuggets, so maybe Detroit could be competitive in this game. But anything to note here on the Pistons?
Still no Sadiq, so we'll see probably the same rotation here with Livers in the starting lineup, that the dual backcourt 10-man, assuming Kojo goes, and you're basically playing Alec Burks as a 3, Hamidou Diallo as a 2. And we know Casey is not as bad as Jenkins with sticking to a 10-man, but he definitely is comfortable with it. So would expect pretty similar rotation.
Man, I can't believe Kevin Knox is getting 20 minutes right now for an NBA team. I haven't. Have you watched him at all? Has he been all right? He was.
No, I've watched him, but he's been. Yeah,
he hit the bane
shots last game.
He was the bane of my existence on the Knicks. But God, what a terrible pick. SGA, we could have been SGA. God.
Don't do that to yourself.
It's just pains me to even think about. All right. Other major spot here, the Lakers. LeBron was ruled out this morning. AD probable. Juan Toscano Anderson questionable. Obviously LeBron's out, always puts AD in a good spot from an upside perspective. He should be 100% tonight as far as AD?
I think so.
Yeah,
I think so. He's going to get listed with the probable tag. I believe he got it's the same back injury he's listed with every time. I didn't check that. I can check real quick. He's listed with low back tightness literally every game, unless he heard something else. Like we had that finger thing. He had a knee thing. We bumped his knees, but like the 100% or Anthony Davis is 100% or his level of 100% is back tightness. And if anything else, something else is bothering him because he'll have that tag regardless.
Yeah, he's a beast too, man. Like he's been much better this season than last year. I don't know how the Suns have been against opposing bigs of late, but he'll be in a good spot, I think, tonight.
He'll be in a very, very good spot. Definitely a guy to entertain. Yeah, they should be going out with the same starting lineup. We'll see how Russell Westbrook does. They blew the Spurs. I'm such a chicken. I wanted to bet this Lakers game, and I just couldn't do it.
Yeah,
they're so hard to bet on. But they played really well. They really controlled the tempo against the Spurs team that lets you control the tempo, especially if you want to play fast. So, but it should be an interesting game.
Yeah, for sure. That'll be an interesting one. Two teams on the very opposite ends of the Western Conference standings. All right, I think that'll do it. Talk about the other side. I mean, Chris Paul is out still. There isn't too much change there on Phoenix. Don't even think we really need to address it. Anything else that stands out for you on this slate, or are we good to go?
No, I think we kind of covered it. Yeah, we got we'll see what's up. Denver's obviously a big situation, and that Claxton thing could really set the tone if he's in or out. There's just we'll talk more about it on the DFS show, and hopefully we get it while we're on the air. But there's a lot of ways that game could go. So on a short slate, leading into, and you could play it like both ways, right? Like, okay, you play more wings, so or you could play the other way, play some bigs, so play Reed and Claxton together. There's a lot of ways you could run up some unique low price guys.
Yeah, for sure. That's a good point. So tune in at 5:00 if you're a subscriber behind the paywall to see Mike Gallagher and Drew Dinkmeyer talk through all things on the DFS slate. Fun 4-gamer we have coming up. And if you aren't supporting us with your dollars, as Drew always says, please do. At the very least, show us some love here on the Established the Run NBA YouTube page. Please do smash, tap, or punch the like button, if you will, as well as please do give us a subscribe if you haven't already. And tell your friends. We're working our behinds off every single day on all things props, DFS, everything. Should be a pretty crazy week with the holiday, but we'll be back tomorrow for one more NBA injury show before Thanksgiving. It should be Mike and Drew tomorrow there. So good luck, everyone, tonight on this Tuesday 4-game slate. And if you don't see me, have a great Thanksgiving. Take care, everybody.